I would like to ask, because I've had a couple of issues, where people discuss that my children are not here. I'm an international student. I just came around, and it's quite pathetic when I hear some of these things. But the point is, there's no clear cut of how children are meant to be disciplined. Sometimes they talk about verbal abuse. There are children you need to raise your voice a little bit and be firm when you speak to them before they actually heed what you want them to do. So sometimes these children go to school and their teachers, because most of the reports the social workers have basically come from school, from my understanding, from the things I've heard. Now, these children are being probed, are being asked by their teachers, do your parents shout at you? Do they raise their voices when they talk to you? Do they do this? Do they do that? Sometimes some of the interrogations, I don't think they are called for from the issues I've heard. And when you talk to a little child, a minor, in that way, you can actually incense the child. You can make the child believe he's being victimized or being abused verbally, which might not exactly be the case. There are some children you tell, please, can you sit down? And the child begins to jump all over the place. You need to show you are a parent is in a place of authority. You have to firmly tell your child to please sit down. And I don't see that as verbal abuse. So there has to be a clear-cut definition of what verbal abuse is. And I think the schools should actually get out of the way of families by asking children, why do you sound like this? Apparently your mother talks to you like that. That is what children also pick up things from schools, and it should be well noted when those things are on ground. That's exactly what I want to say.
Let's say 6 months ago. So some of these parents have their stories about 2 years ago, 3 years, or even more. I think, what they've been going through is equal to someone who just had this problem recently. I mean, the concern here is 50 seconds, I have to say. So the concern here is we all suffering the same way, the same phenomenon, the same mystery, the same abuse. Because what's been going on with the social services is not only we think we are targeted, it's just because we are 100% sure we are targeted. I don't know on which way we are targeted. Is it our color? Is it because our cultural background they think we can fit in? Or is it something else that they cannot explain to us? Because what I can think is from a mother who have to go through labor after 9 months, and that mother have to lose her child to a woman, a 22 years old woman, a social service agent, who do not know what a pain she went through. So she just go by the book, or by a fake story, or by lying, just to win her case. I don't know how much they get from it. I don't know what they can win from it. But all I can think is that should stop. Somebody have to do something about that. Somebody have to be here to listen to us, to listen to our parents, to listen to things that we are going through. They are breaking us. They are putting us through depression. They are turning people to be alcoholic, to be drug addict. Because what's happening, that's the reality here. And I think from my story, I had a 4-year-old boy. He came back from nursery with some unexplained injuries. I don't smoke, but the case was that child was burned by a cigarette, and it was caused by his parents. And he was smoking a cigarette. But when the social services come, the first question was, do I sell weed? Do I sell drugs? Were they asking the mother, is the mother covering me? So I just felt straight away I was targeted. I felt straight away I was abused. I don't know how to word everything, but I think really the issue here, we need someone that can listen to our stories, someone who can put these cases forward, somebody who can do something about it. And to be honest, my case still going forward. I'm not going to say I'm happy because at the end of the day, we went through court and the judge have to find out that even though after the evidences and everything, they find out I might not be the person who caused those injuries, but the mother did. So now we're going to have to go through separation because we don't want to lose our son. We don't want no one else to care for him. We are worried about that child culture, that child religion, because we don't know who's going to care for him. So this is what social services had done to us. Nothing but just to break us.
Honestly, we can't solve the problem today. But do you know what? Can you give a round of applause for yourself to be here today? Everybody? Teesside is the most diverse community in the UK. And if that it is, then we have a lot to explore. We have a lot if we can build that cohesion, inclusion, friendly environment. There are a lot of people, bright ideas, that they are ready to move Teesside forward. But only if the structure, if the system can understand and also support everyone, make everyone happy. That is why we said we need to come here today. Let's protect every family. We don't want to accuse anyone to be wrong. However, where are we going, and how can we move forward collectively? On that note, thank you very much once again, everybody. I will take back now. I think I've satisfied everybody because it's about grassroots discussion. Then we take it back to some people here. They are also grassroots and they are also part of the system. I know the experienced professional inside might have different views, which we'll be happy to also see how we could be on the same point.
Thank you. My name is Wentai Bowman. I have a lot of titles. I've been here 20 years. Before I came here, I doing the international trade. When I came here, I became policeman interpreter, immigration interpreter for over 10 years. I have involved with the social service. I have seen all the families, from the white family, black family, Chinese family. So I say, no matter how, social workers are morally wrong. It's a time let us to face them, because the family is a family. Our culture say we would rather break down the bridges, 24 bridges, not break down one family. So the family is strong. There's a family, there's a country. So the country is made by the family. But now your country is break down the family one by one. So just now this lady, she said she doesn't want to look at the individual. Individual is the true case, because that's true. Truth is very shining, so hurts the judge, hurts other hypocritical people. I had a heart. I'm very great we face this problem, because there's another group of people asked me to stand up for the children service, because it's not right to take the children away. You got one, you waste the government's money. You say you take £80,000. Then your council keeps saying no money. And then you give people only £20 for their £20 a week for their child. And then you give the foster family £30. So it totally is wrong. It's morally wrong. We need to face it. How? Because the MP is, we need to talk to him to change the law, because I studied law as well. How can we change the law? Use the MP to raise our issue. We can't say here. They can't hear they can't. I can feel your tears, parents' tears. I can feel your bloody want to suicide. What it says hell. The hell is your children have been taken away. That's right. Do you know? So we live in the real life. Every family has, people have the right to pursue the happiness, liberty. So they violate the human laws. So this is civilized England. They say something nice, safeguard children. I know some children need to be really looked at, like a baby P. But baby P is a kind of fair result of the social service. Right. It's not because the parents, so the parents we need to look at. But you can't, because of one case, and criminalize all the parents. Yeah, parents is something we cultivate the children. So social service can't treat the family like a second-hand citizen, and then they can't treat them less human. That is wrong. So we need to talk to the yes, he need to face the problem. You know, you can't just say, oh, individual cases, go to Hamilton, go in here. No, you just sort it out. So we need them to give us an answer. So just now Matthew said, I don't think we can give you an answer. We need the result. You say you are there. When you're there, you want to get it done. So you fulfill your duty. You get paid to fulfill your duty. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would like to call this a day, but before then, I have him for 2 minutes, and Masha Garrett and Barry Cooper to round it up. What is the way forward?
I'm not an expert on anything, but what I've watched here today is quite frightening, where the lady in the middle talks down to anybody that opposes what she does. She's saying that these things don't exist. She's shaking her head all the time, when obviously they do. I believe this guy, because I don't know him, I don't know any of them, but I do know that when children are abused, they need looking after, and these guys are doing the best. They've gone right away through all the systems that you've put in their places, and they've come out the other side, and they're getting no help at all to get the children back. And that should be the first object of your department, is to get the children back where they belong, where they're loved, and where they get their hair combed and their hair cut. And if something's sadly wrong, go back to Marietta Higgs. That's what I remember. Marietta Higgs. She was saying that children got abused, and she was abusing her own children to prove that there was anal reflexology. That's what's wrong with social service. You defend yourselves, and you make your own systems and your own lives. Thank you.
I will give it to Masha Garrett.
Just to close in, my name is Marsha Garrett, and I work for a project called Challenging Racism. And the main thing that I'm going to focus on, I'm not an expert in social services. I've thankfully had minimal dealings with them. And I just want to say, this lady cannot speak for every social worker. What she can do is speak on her own practice. So I think that she needs to be commended, really, for coming in to a very emotional situation, which I understand the emotion. A few people have mentioned race with regards to their case, and that's the thing that's caught my attention. For you, sir, when you said, were you asked about dealing drugs? For me, that's racial profiling. Can you prove that? It will be exceptionally difficult. That's how structural racism works. The race disparity audit that came out in 2017, done by the Tory government, and I'm sure they didn't want it to come out, the truth came out that there is structural racism at the heart of all of our key social institutions. Education, politics, health, housing, you name it. I don't see why children's services would be any different. So for me, going forward, what we need to be asking social services, what is the makeup of your staff in regards to diversity? What is their understanding regarding different cultures? And as well, for you being accused of being a prostitute, for me, that's racially profiling. I think all of these things that you discuss in there is about racial profiling, and it's very, very difficult to prove, and social services will know this. So it's about asking what's going to change with regards to structure. Structural racism is a massive problem, and it's impacting our lives, and we need to be talking out about that loud. One thing I would say going forward is that the people that are individually impacted, who have had their children removed, representatives from Middlesbrough Social Services should be coming and meeting with you, sitting down and listening to you. Yeah, am I saying that you're going to get your children back? Not necessarily, no. But that should be changed. That needs to change. They need to be coming, sitting and listening to you, because they're the ones that need to be making the changes, to be totally honest. Last point, regarding... I will say another thing as well about courts. People have mentioned courts, having to go to courts. Can we honestly trust our court system to treat us fairly when we're not white? That's the question. And I can tell you this, and I will end on this note. I had a brother who went through the court process. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Whilst he was in prison, a policeman decided that he did not have schizophrenia, that he was putting it on, and withheld his medication. By the time we got to court, he was very, very sick, unable to defend himself at all. I wanted to go with a not guilty plea. I won't go into the details of the case. I wanted to go with a not guilty plea. The solicitor took me out of the room. He'd been a solicitor for 25 years, had worked all around the country, a white male, and he said to me, "Your brother is a big black man. There is not a jury in this land that will find him innocent." That's the reality of the situation. Okay.
Thank you very much. I would like to call on Barry Cooper to make a roundup because this room is booked at 2 p.m. and we have to leave this building.
Thank you. How do we go forward? Well, the only things I can say to you is the legal system in this country presumes innocence of everybody until they've had the day in court, and I can't interfere in the legal system. However, if I have permission from yourselves, I can give you an independent review, and I will sit down, I will go through all your documents, I will see if your evidence needs boosting up, because you've got to have a trail of evidence. But I can't go into court and represent you. I can tell you that there is a number of places you can look. You can look on Justices for, or Fathers for Justices. That's a website where you get legal advice. But yeah, I can look through the papers for you and see what I can come up with. But I can't go into court and represent you, and I can't interfere with the legal justice system.
For those of you, make sure you put in your name for attendance so that we'll be following up with these details. And any progress we get from each council, we will definitely make it public. Okay? Thank you.